And breaking news this evening, it's officially an election year in California. California voters this November will be asked to approve or reject new Democratic-drawn congressional maps meant to add more Democratic seats in Congress. It's an effort by Governor Gavin Newsom and Democratic lawmakers to try to remove several Republicans from California's representation in the House of Representatives.
Now, the governor started this to counter Texas, where lawmakers are on the verge of doing the same thing, but to help President Trump and the Republican Party. KCRA3's Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala is live for us at the Democratic Party headquarters with a major update on how this is changing.
Edie and Golston, well, here in California, the gloves are officially off in this redistricting war between states, essentially in the push over which party represents or has power, I should say, in the U.S. House of Representatives halfway through his term. Now, California Democratic leaders today making clear they're not waiting for Texas. In fact, California voters will be asked to approve these new maps regardless of what happens in that state or others. We should note that Texas's legislature is halfway through its process to approve new Republican-drawn maps. So California lawmakers today officially put the new Democratic maps on the ballot on party line votes. The statewide special election for this will be November 4th, and the measure will be known as Proposition 50. It would allow the new Democratic-drawn maps to take effect for the 2026, 2028, and 2030 elections. Now, the reason why this is going to voters is because California voters took the power away from politicians to draw maps 2 decades ago. They established the state's Independent Redistricting Commission. State leaders are basically asking for that power back temporarily. I asked the governor about no longer waiting to see what happens in Texas. Over and over again over the last several weeks, you said that voters would be presented with trigger language based on what Texas or other states do. Texas is halfway through its legislative process on these maps, but you've decided apparently to go forward with this anyway and have voters allow these maps to go into effect anyway, regardless of what happens in other states. I mean, even if the courts strike down what happens in Texas. So, I mean, just clarifying, these new maps take effect no matter what.
We're moving forward. Texas moved forward. Texas acted. Texas is moving forward. You're suggesting, people are suggesting Texas is not going to move forward because of what we just did? Come on.
Meanwhile, California lawmakers at the state capitol today debated this for 6 hours. Here's what one Republican state senator had to say.
Members, fair districts lead to fair representation. And if you pass this bill moving forward, and if it passes in November, which I don't believe it will, but if it does, what you're striving for is predetermined elections, meaning that there won't be one competitive race for Congress in California for the next 3 cycles. Members, that's not good for Democrats, independents, and Republicans. You're taking the voice away from Californians in terms of having fair representation and earning the trust of your voters, not having a predetermined election.
So that change to no longer hinge this whole thing on Texas, that was actually introduced this morning. Lawmakers by state law, they need to wait 72 hours before voting or approving on that. So that's something that's going to be finalized on Monday. Just to give viewers at home what exactly you're going to be asked on the ballot, the question will simultaneously ask you to approve these Democratic-drawn maps while also asking you to support independent redistricting nationwide, which is basically just a symbolic effort because at the moment there are no concrete steps to do that federally.
And Ashley, I mean, when we're talking about what people will actually be voting on, you have been asking who's responsible for the maps, who drew these boundaries. Have we gotten any clarity on that?
Yeah, throughout the week, I've been asking that question, and after having several conversations with state lawmakers, staff, and other experts, some who don't want to be named, ultimately everyone kept pointing back to the leader of the state Senate and leader of the state Assembly, Speaker of the Assembly Robert Rivas, and Senate Pro Tem Mike McGuire, as well as the Democratic Campaign Congressional Committee, also known as essentially the Democratic Party. Those are mainly who are responsible for these maps that are presented to voters. As we reported earlier this week, Rivas and McGuire are considering running for Congress with these new maps in place if they take place. We should note that neither Rivas nor McGuire showed up to the Democratic Party headquarters here tonight to answer questions from reporters.
Yeah. All right.
Reporting live here in downtown Sacramento, Ashley Zavala, KCRA 3 News.
Yeah, interesting. All right, thanks for coloring all that in there for us, Ashley. Tonight we're also hearing from the group that's called Stop Sacramento's Power Grab. Their group's chair sent KCRA 3 a statement saying, in part, Gavin Newsom's disgusting display of partisanship is an attack on California's voter-approved independent redistricting system as he aims to advance his own political interests.